He wanted to.
Terence Crawford's 37. Devin Heaney said he thinks he would like him to retire. Do you agree with that statement?
He can do whatever he wants to do. He's been dominating for a long time too, so he can do whatever he wants to do. I would like to see him retire because it'd be hard for anybody to top that, and they definitely put him on the top 5 list, and he didn't stay there because he hasn't been beat.
Last question. Is Terence Crawford the greatest of all time?
He's the greatest of all time.
Where does he rank?
I don't know, but he's not the greatest of all time. He's the greatest of all time.
Roy Jones Jr. has completely flipped the script for Terence Crawford's final chapter. While the whole boxing world is focused on a huge Canelo rematch, Roy is pushing, but toward a totally different path. One that legacy demands, but almost nobody expected. He is pointing out the one missing piece in Crawford's resume, that only a single fighter can fix Erislandy Lara. This isn't about another title. It's about shutting the only open door in Crawford's career. And Roy Jones Jr. understands exactly why Lara is the tough puzzle piece that finishes the masterpiece.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier, and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint, and do even more with it.
To understand why Roy Jones Jr. is pushing for this move, you have to look closely at Terence Crawford's resume. Bud has won titles at 135,000,000, 140,000, 147, and 154 pounds, and then jumped all the way to 168 to beat Canelo. Do you see the gap? He skipped the entire 160-pound middleweight division. For a historian like Roy Jones, that's a missing piece. Jones says going back down to win a middleweight title isn't a step backward, it's a smart, calculated move. He calls it closing it off. If Crawford takes a belt at 160, the timeline becomes complete, and the case for him being the greatest fighter of this era becomes undeniable.
I don't know. I mean, I think he may want to go get a middleweight title because he skipped over that. He went to dream middleweight. No, he went dream middleweight, then went super middleweight. So he may go back to just capture middleweight title to close the gap, like I wished I would have did with the cruiserweight title. So I think he does that, and that's it.
The middleweight division has been a quiet wasteland for years, stuck behind the bigger names at 168, but that silence is finally shifting. Roy Jones Jr. sees this weight class as the ideal place for Crawford to strike because it is controlled by tough champions, not global stars. These are fighters holding belts Crawford wants, but they do not have the pull to make big demands like Canelo. That gives Crawford full leverage. He wouldn't be the B-side asking for permission. He would be the one stepping down to claim what he believes is his. Jones views this as the easiest route with the biggest payoff for Crawford's legacy.
I did want to ask you about Terence Crawford as well.
Yeah.
A lot going on with him at the moment. No one knows his next move.
Right.
What would you like his next move to be?
I think he should go down and win a title at 160 because he won at 47, 40, 54, 68. Go get 60, you've got to close it off. Fine.
Yeah. Would you like to see a rematch with Canelo?
Not really.
Okay. What about Canelo, I guess? What would you like to see in the future
I don't know. Canelo can do anything he wants to. He's done so much already. There's really not much left for him to do. So it's really, I think Canelo probably could either take the rematch or close the door because Canelo's done way more than that.
Here is where the timeline gets interesting. The 160-pound picture is unclear right now, but everything becomes clear on December 6th. 2025, the day set for the huge unification fight between WBO and IBF champion Janibek and WBA champion Erislandy Lara. This is not just a fight, it is an audition, and Roy Jones Jr.'s advice depends entirely on the winner. On one side, you have Janibek, the feared knockout artist from Kazakhstan. On the other, you have Lara, the Cuban veteran and oldest active champion, who still has a tricky high IQ style that frustrates everyone who ever leaves the ring. With all three belts, immediately becomes Crawford's next target.
Age-wise, of course, everybody's going to say Erislandy Lara because he's 40. Mm-hmm. But I would never come out of my mouth and call Erislandy Lara a weak link. Mm-hmm. I think there's no elite fighters at 160.
While Janibek is a young lion, there is a strong feeling that Erislandy Lara could be the fight Roy Jones Jr. is secretly targeting if he pulls off the upset. Lara is part of the old guard, a skilled technician who understands the sweet science on the same level as Crawford. A matchup between Crawford and Lara would be a chess match for the ages, a battle of southpaw skill that purists would love. If Lara can withstand Janibek's power and unify the titles, he becomes a legacy opponent for Crawford, a name that has been relevant for over a decade. It's a chance to beat a fighter who once troubled Canelo, adding another "I did it better than you" layer to Crawford's rivalry with the Mexican star.
Bud's like my brother. I've been with him for the past probably 7 camps. He's taken 0 shortcuts. He's always 100% to himself. He never cheats himself, so. We're just in a routine. We know what happens. We come out here, just pass the time working out everything. Pass as fast. You work out so many times a day and get to it. You're working the whole.
Crawford isn't sitting around waiting for something to happen. He is already making moves. He was recently seen at the WBO convention, and he did not hold back. He sat next to Janibek, Alam Canyali's team, looked straight into the camera, and said, "I got my eyes on you." It might have been a warning, or it might have been playful. Nobody can say for sure. But one thing is clear: Crawford is locked in on the 160-pound division.
My guts say the same thing. I'm gonna sit down with my team and we're gonna discuss what's next in the future for Terence Crawford. And who knows? I might go down to 160.
Johnny, we're here next. Looking for you. Looking for December 6th, how you gonna do it?
I got my eyes on you, Janibek.
This viral clip shows that Roy Jones Jr.'s plan is already in motion. Crawford is now hunting the middleweight champions. He knows the winner of the December 6th fight holds the key to his 6th weight class title, and he wants them to know he is coming for everything. They have the other part of Roy Jones Jr.'s advice is the one causing the most debate. Leave Canelo alone. Jones believes a rematch with Alvarez is high risk and low reward for Crawford's legacy. In his eyes, Canelo has done enough. The Mexican star is healing from elbow surgery, and the years in the sport are catching up. Jones says Crawford already beat him. Doing it again proves nothing. If Crawford loses the rematch, it damages the first win. If he wins again, people will say Canelo was old and hurt. It becomes a lose-lose situation hidden behind a big payday.
To catch up at Canelo Crawford, I just want to get your reflections on that fight first.
It was a great fight by Crawford. Fought a very smart fight, just like I thought he would. The only problem I had was I was worried about his shoulder because some stuff came out about his shoulder being sore, so I didn't know about that. But if he didn't have any injuries, I knew it would be an easy walk for him.
Are you surprised by just how kind of confident and comfortable Terence was in there at all?
No, not at all, because if you watch Canelo struggles with guys that can box. Terence can box from both sides, left-handed or right-handed. So how could you be surprised?
So there's a lot of talk about what next for both men. With Canelo Alvarez, where do you think he goes from here?
I don't know. I think they're trying to have a rematch, so I don't know.
Do you think he can right the wrongs in a rematch?
I don't think so, no.
Roy wants Crawford to chase history, not another paycheck. And that history sits in the missing middleweight title, not in a repeat fight that adds nothing new. The stakes could not be higher if Terence Crawford follows Roy Jones Jr. and wins a world title at 160 pounds. He steps into a nearly empty club. He would stand beside Manny Pacquiao and Oscar de la Hoya as one of the only fighters ever to win major world titles in 6 weight classes. That is the kind of accomplishment that separates the great from the truly legendary. It is a mark that never fades long after the money from a Canelo rematch is gone, and Roy Jones Jr. knows this better than anyone because he once jumped from middleweight to heavyweight to chase history. He sees that same fire in Crawford, and he is urging him to claim that 6th belt so that when the story of boxing is written, the name Terence Crawford stands alone on the page.
Right, but in terms of a fantasy fight, if you'd have ever shared the ring with a 168 version of Terence Crawford, would that have been an intriguing matchup?
Not really. I like Terence. Terence is a very good fighter, but Terence grew up on Roy Jones. It's hard to tell you these guys gonna whoop Roy Jones when they grew up and they still asking questions to Roy Jones about how he did things. So they don't fully understand Roy Jones yet either. So it's hard to beat Roy Jones if you don't fully understand him yet. You understand me? So I mean, it's cool. He's a great fighter. Don't get it wrong. And it would have been an intriguing fight because he has a heart and he has confidence and he's a very challenging guy. That's what I like about him the most. That's why I knew he'd beat Canelo, because he stands up to the challenge. So he would have been something to deal with for a few rounds early. But I was a different guy. I was much faster than 90% of the people I fought. You understand me? So it's like with my speed level and with the precision and things, even him. I had him training yesterday. I watched him put together some 4 and 5 punch combinations, and I think it shocked him.
because of how quick he can do it. So it's not about necessarily talent. It's talent too, but you gotta have know-how with talent. I had know-how along with talent. That's what this kid has.
Terence Crawford is standing at the last crossroads of his legendary career. One path leads to a huge payday and another unnecessary battle with Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, for sure. But it's still, when you look at it, it's still excuses. Like I said before the fight, every one of my biggest fights, I say, I'm going to be prepared for the excuses. When you so great and you so much ahead of your competition, they look at the fighters that you fight and say they nobodies because how much you beat them by or the level of skills that you oppose against them. So when I fight this guy, it's all he was a nobody. When I fight this guy, all he was washed. When I fight this guy, it's an excuse, So who you want me to fight? I beat this guy. It's an excuse. I beat this guy. He's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. We really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the number one guy that's the face of boxing, and the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. And I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, so I just think, when you that much better than the competition, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man.
The other path Roy Jones Jr. highlights leads to the 160-pound division and a chance to complete a flawless run through the weight classes. The keys will be decided on December 6th, when Lara and Janibek face off. Crawford has his sights set on the winner. And if he makes this move, he won't just be a champion, he'll be the only fighter to conquer 6 divisions. The question is, will he follow the guidance of a legend, or will the temptation of a Canelo payday be too strong? The clock is ticking, and the middleweight division is about to get very exciting.
I'm not gonna judge Crawford over his last performance from Canelo, because I don't care what a person say, they could say that Canelo's washed up, they say this, they say past his prime, yada yada yada. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how he executed the plan and how he neutralized the threat. So he did a phenomenal job with that. Bowman came up with a great game plan for that. I really believe that Janibek can get outboxed. I think he's going to get outboxed. He goes into 160. It's all going to determine on how he look against Lara. Because Lara is a crafty southpaw. And remember, I said this to you before with William Skull and Canelo. Mm-hmm. I said if he struggles against William Skull and he boxes him, it's going to just keep the blueprint solid for Crawford. So it's one of those things. So Crawford is a nice southpaw. He's solid. He knows how to utilize a lot of things. And it's like little details that maybe some of the casuals don't see, like how he positioned his foot, how he made Canelo smother his shots and still gave Canelo better exchanges in the inside. It was a lot of high caliber. Like, you can tell why he deserves to be in that stage. But I got him boxing Janibek, and then after that, just walk away.